Alright, well, I've emptied out the barrels, rinsed off the rocks, and now is the process of seeing what's ready to move on to step 2 and what's not. This right here, this colander is all the rocks that were in the 12-pound barrel, and then the 2 3-pound barrels are right here, if I move my hand, so there you go. Alright, looks like my barrel's floating. This is pretty close, but there's still a little bit on there that I think is ready, not ready yet, so it's going to go back for a little more step 1. Get some of the heavier ones in there now, so maybe my barrel will quit floating. Ooh, this might be, no, there's still a rough spot on it. This is turning into a pretty interesting one. Let me see if I can get it to focus. There we go. I got this down at the river, and yeah, it's interesting. I like interesting. Obviously all these rocks are wet now, so this is what hopefully they will look like when they're done tumbling, which would be shiny. I've been doing the stuff I got from Lake Superior and a bunch of stuff that I got from the Ohio River, a bunch of stuff like this, and this stuff goes very quickly. Like this very well might have gone in last week. So you know, they start out pretty rounded already, and you don't generally need much step 1 to get them going. And when I'm done here, I'll show you why I'm kind of doing that. I don't think anybody wants to watch 15-20 minutes of me picking up rocks and feeling them, so I'm going to shut this off. I'll bring you back when I'm done, and I'll tell you why I've been pushing this way. Okay, I'm done cleaning off the rocks. Here is today's haul. So this is how much that I got out of the 12 pounds, 2 3-pounds that I feel was ready to move on to step 2. Part of why I'm doing what I've been doing with the river rocks and stuff like that is because they're quicker. This is actually way more than I would expect to get in a typical week if I were doing other stuff. But when you're starting out with rocks that, as an example, look like this when they start, okay, it's not going to need a whole lot of time in step 1 because it's pretty smooth already. If you're starting out with something that was like this, you know, that's going to take a while in step 1. Okay, so basically that's kind of the thing. Now some people might ask, well, why am I doing step 1 at all? Okay, and that's a legitimate question. That is a question you see a lot on the Facebook pages. Can I skip step 1? Can I skip step 1? Can I skip step 1? Everybody wants to skip step 1. Okay, so here's the thing. These are all rocks that did step 1, and these are all rocks that did step 1. So if I can explain it, but I can't really show you on a video. Say I took this rock that just came out of step 1, and this is an Ohio River rock. I harvested this a week or 2 ago. Okay, and I go over to that bucket and I get a rock that's similar to this, which I have some that are similar to this that have not done step 1. Okay, now if I dry this one off, it's gonna, well, why not? I'll go ahead and do it. You know, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, but basically, typically you don't want to dry them off. Okay, now if I dry this one off, it's not shiny anymore. So it looks a lot like most of the rocks in that bucket over there. But if I handed you this rock and one of the rocks out of that bucket, just by feeling them, you would know the difference. So it does make a difference. It makes a difference. So that's why, you know, I say don't skip step 1. You know, maybe you only do it for a week. I'd say there's a fair number of rocks in here and in here. You can't see the other one. That only spent a week in step 1, or maybe 2 weeks. Okay, and there's probably a fair number in the barrel still over there that are going back for another week that probably have only done 1 week. But I'm telling you, step 1 does make a difference. Okay, now here's the thing. I use the Thumlers when I have some bigger rocks that I want to shine up, because, you know, okay, so as an example, this rock, this is pretty big. Okay, look, there you go. You see that? I probably could get it into my LotO, but I don't know if I could get it out. So when I have bigger rocks, I fill up the Thumlers, but this is an 18-pound capacity. So this is actually, what's in here already is, I think, 3 weeks harvest out of the 12 and the 2 3-pounds, plus a week from before I left on vacation. And I'm going to add these in now, and I'm probably going to go one more week. And I think if I get as much as I got this week, next week, I'll probably be able to start the Thumlers next week. Now, once I start it, it's only 9 days until I'm done. Okay, so that's the nice thing about a vibratory. Once you start them up, they're pretty quick. 3 days step 2, 3 days step 3, 3 days step 4, and you're done. Now, if you watch a lot of other channels, they probably tell you a day and a half of each one, or maybe 2 days of each one. I do 3. It works for me. You know, there you go. It's fine. Okay, but basically that's where we're at. I'm trying to fill up this. Now, I do intend, when I do vibratory, I put a lot of ceramic media in, so I'm not going to try to fill this completely up with rocks. What I'll do is I'll fill it the rest of the way with ceramic media, and probably, by the looks of it, I think the water makes this look like it's more full than it is. I'd say I'm barely half at this point. Okay, but I will fill it the rest of the way with ceramic media, and then that's how we will get our tumble in. And the nice thing is, once we start the vibratory, it'll be done in 9 days. Okay, one last thing I wanted to talk about. I mentioned LotO in the last video, and they said wait for July and check their site. Well, I checked it again today. July is almost over. Today is Tuesday. August 1 is Thursday. Oops, looks like I got something floating in there. Let me add a little bit of water. Okay, and there's no real like definitive thing, but they are under new ownership, so somebody did buy them, and they are going to continue in some form or another. And like I said before, I hope they continue with the way LotO was. Obviously I'm running 2 LotO tumblers right now, and I am very, very happy with them, and I hope they continue. You know, they're not the only tumbler out there, but they very well may be the best tumbler out there as far as rotary tumblers go. I wouldn't argue that. There may be others that are as good, but I wouldn't argue that there's any better. The statement they have up now basically says, if you have questions concerning orders, parts, warranty, service, or repairs, please send us a message. We maintain an extensive inventory of parts, and in many cases can repair very old units. So that's positive. Please note, we do not carry parts for other manufacturers' equipment. Yeah, I would not expect to be able to send my Thumlers tumbler in and have them fix it for me. If you are unsure whether your machine is a LotO brand, please send a picture when contacting us. That is very nice of them. Machines sent for repair need to be clean and must include a description of the problem and phone number as well as address. That would make sense as well. It probably helps if they know what's wrong with it. Much of our equipment is available for select international markets. Please refer to the dealer locator page and contact one of our established overseas distributors. So evidently they sell overseas as well. So that's where we are. My main concern is getting replacement parts. Knock on wood, mine are running great right now, but I have worn out a couple of the lid gaskets, and right now I don't know if I have a spare. I know I don't have a spare 12-pound. I don't think I have a spare 3-pound. I think I've used all my spares, and my usual go-tos, Kingsley North and Rock Shed, are generally sold out at this point, so hopefully that's going to get better. So that's basically where they're at with LotO. For me personally, if I get the idea that LotO's not going to really be continuing as they were, then I'll probably go to Thumlers. I've been kind of considering getting a 15-pound Thumler and running a 12 and a 15 instead of a 12 and 2 3s. If I do it, I know me, I'll probably end up running a 12, a 15, and 2 3s. But yeah, it is what it is. It would allow me to fill this up significant, you know, probably almost half the time, because if you think about it, right now I'm running 18 pounds of rotary with a 12 and 2/3, and if I add a 15, that's almost as much as I have already. All right, so I will probably do videos when I start this up, so maybe next week there'll be another video. We'll see if I think it's ready to go. I think it's pretty close. You know, if I get as much as I got today, then I'd say, yeah, definitely. The only thing is there's one more big rock in there that I want to get in here, because like I said, I can't do it in my LotO. So we'll see how that goes. If that rock's ready, it was the first rock I held up today, so if that rock's ready, and I think it very well may be, then next week we will start up the Thumlers, and we'll go from there. All right, take care, happy tumbling. All right, here we go. And they're off again. Have a good week.